Hi everyone, it's Sarah from Plan Sarah Plan, and welcome to my plan with me for September 11th through the 17th. It's my birthday week, and I've decided to use the Edivi Inspire Pattern sticker sheet from Erin Condren. Then look what I did. I just took a notion to put these through a typewriter and to type some events on them. Various Inspire sticker sheets, and sometimes it's hard to figure out what to use the different shapes for. So I will see how this looks on the page, but I think I've come up with some fun ideas there. These are washi stickers that we may or may not use, and these are extra event stickers. And these are some gold foiled text stickers, all from the Inspire sticker book. These are the headers that I made to match this. So I just pulled the pinks and sort of blush color out of this pattern and made the date headers. And I want to give a shout out to Courtney Burton. Courtney, if you're watching, what a surprise it was to find this in my P.O. box last week. It is a cool book from a group called She Reads Truth. I looked them up. I'm following them now on Instagram. I had not heard of them before. But this is sort of a prayer workbook, a prayer series that you can actually write in and interact with, prayers in scripture, and it takes you through like a program of, let me get into where it gets going. Day 1, this is day 2. And it's so beautiful. Day 3, and then you've got like questions to answer, and you have selections from scripture where you are encountering prayer in scripture. And I haven't dug into it very much yet. I just looked through it, and I was first of all struck with how pretty it is. And then I was intrigued by this group, She Reads Truth. So I looked them up on Instagram and started following them. And I noticed that a lot of the people that I'm already friends with on Instagram already follow this. So I'm late to the party. But I just wanted to thank you, Courtney. This was such a thoughtful thing to send to me. And I am really looking forward to digging in and using this. I really appreciate it. So Friday is my birthday. And I've just been through my first week of teaching, back to my fall and school year teaching schedule, and everything went great. I had just about perfect attendance with my students for the first week back to piano. Some of them had grown so much, and I had not seen them at all over the summer, and I was just, they looked like different people. Some of them, especially the ones who are at that age where they really hit a growth spurt. And it was great to see them all back. And they were excited to get their new assignment books. And I showed you those in last week's video. So I hope if you're interested in those, you'll take a peek at last week's video. But it was a good week. Everything went very well. And I'm very grateful for that. There was a little bit of drama, though, in the dental department for my husband, because he had scheduled a root canal. The dentist told him he needed a root canal, and it was not going to happen until this upcoming week. But he was in so much pain that the dentist moved him up to, or the oral surgeon moved him up to this past week. And on Monday, I took him, dropped him off for his root canal, and he's already in a lot of pain. And then he called me just a half an hour later and said, because I had dropped him off, we didn't know if he would be able to drive or not. Neither one of us has ever had a root canal before, so we weren't really sure what to expect. So I dropped him off, and he called me and said he was ready for me to pick him up. And when I got there, he said, you know what, they did some really more detailed x-rays than the other dentist had been able to do. And they found that my tooth is just too far gone and they can't do the root canal. So they have to pull the tooth. So poor guy, he had to just stay in pain for another day. And then the following day, our other dentist was able to fit him in quickly because he really just wanted that thing out of there. And so he had to have that tooth pulled. So he's still recovering, but he can eat now. And but it's just been a very eventful week. So yeah, but it wasn't a bad week. I do have a story to tell you that I'm embarrassed to tell you. So I want to think about whether or not I should even tell you. Because I want you to evaluate my behavior in a certain situation that I encountered last week. I guess now I've gone ahead and said so much that I need to go ahead and say it, right? What happened? Okay, so I mean, it's not that big a deal. Okay, definitely I'm already leading it up as though it's a real big deal. It's not. But it's my behavior that I'm evaluating, not the event itself, but my behavior. I'm not positive I behaved correctly. So, I like to go thrift shopping. So on Monday, the deal at Goodwill is that you can, are you laughing yet that this story is going to be about Goodwill? The deal on Monday is that you can get last week's color of the week 75% off. And you can also get this week's color of the week, meaning the color of the tag, the price tag. This week's color 50% off. So Monday is a smart day to go to Goodwill. And I thought, well, Tuesday is when my piano lessons start. I have done a tiny bit of back to school shopping, but I would love to get maybe a good deal on a couple of cute little tops for teaching this week. So I went into Goodwill. First thing I did was I said, what was last week's color of the week? And the associate said, it is red. Last week it was red. And then I said, what is this week's color? And they said, orange. There were actually two ladies standing together at the front at the checkout. So I said, all right, I'm going to be shopping for red and orange. And I was only going down my size. There are like 3 racks that have tops on them in this particular Goodwill. And I was just going to have laser vision, focus in, tunnel vision. Is that what they call it? Where I was just going to tune out every other color except for the tags that were orange and red. So I filled up my cart with several tops that had orange and red tags. And I was very pleased with what I had found, and especially pleased that some of them were going to be 75% off. So when I got to the checkout, I was helping the associate take the things off the hangers because they keep the hangers. And then she was ringing them up, and then she gave me the total. And I had done a little estimation in my head of what this should cost. And this total was significantly higher than what I thought it should cost. So I looked at the sales slip because she rang it up, and then she also handed me the sales slip. And I didn't question it until I had already paid. So I stuck my credit card into the chip reader, and then I'm thinking in my head, and then she hands me the slip, and I look it over, and it turns out all those reds were not discounted at all. So I'm like, what? I said, you know what? It looks like the reds were not discounted. And the associate said, well, we don't do that anymore. And I said, oh, well, remember when I walked in here about an hour ago, I asked you what last week's color of the week was, and you told me it was red. And she said, that's right. And I said, but why would I have asked you about last week's color unless I was under the impression that I was going to get that deal? And then the sales associate was definitely and visibly upset at that point. She took it personally that I was questioning this. And she said, well, ma'am, it says right there on the sign that we don't do it anymore. And I said, but when I asked you what the color of the week was last week, and I really did talk this way, I talked gently, but I was being truthful about it because I was a little aggravated. Yes. I said, when I asked you what the color of the week was last week, and you said it's red, I think it would have been helpful if you had said at that point, it was red, but we don't offer that deal of 75% off anymore. And she just looked at me and said, have a nice day, ma'am. And she walked away. Now, it might be weird that I'm putting down, let's celebrate on my own birthday, but why not? So my question for you is this. Should I have just let it go? I mean, the salesperson who works there, this is what Goodwill does. They do hire people with some sort of disability. I don't know what her disability was she was perfectly capable of running the cash register and stuff, but you know, I'm sure her life is not super easy. So should I have just let it go and not said anything about it? Or, I mean, what my question is, should I have not said anything to her like, you know, I think you should tell people when they ask you what last week's color is. I'm looking for my Inspire washi tape right now. When they ask you what last week's color is, rather than just saying it's red, go ahead and also tell them that there's no deal on last week's color. Do you think that was taking it too far? Because I'm trying to be kind, right? And I know that she's working at Goodwill, so Goodwill hires people that have some kind of disability. Should I just have let that go? I don't know. I don't know. I went ahead and bought the stuff. I didn't return it because I thought, okay, well, I've already paid for it. And to go through the process here at Goodwill, I don't really know how easy that is or not because I've never tried it, of trying to, you know, refund. I've never gotten a refund at Goodwill. I know they'll let you exchange things if you do it like within 5 days or something. I've never gotten a refund. So I didn't even go that way. I think I said to her, I'm going to go ahead and keep these things. But I do think that you should tell people, even though it says it on the sign, because I didn't see the sign, go ahead and tell people that you don't do that anymore. So anyway, that was my big saga, but I'm always worried that I have treated somebody unkindly, and I don't want to do that for any amount of money. So, you know, I probably should have let it go. I mean, it was Goodwill. And even if I paid full price, it wasn't that much. But what would you have done? Let's play what would you have done. So I think right now, my opinion is that this is too matchy-matchy, but I'm not going to change it. I'm going to go with it just because time is short. I have gone to a baby shower today, and so I'm starting this late, and I'm not going to get, I'm not going to go perfectionist on myself and the rest of us. Okay, so we've got those, and maybe you can see the rose gold that's on this, and I don't mind mixing rose gold and yellow gold. I'm not a purist in that sense. And then I made one of the same shaped ones for church. So let's put that up at the top of that little blush banner. And then that's all that I put a little 2 here, meaning lesson 2. Don't know where to put it, but maybe a little bit higher. Right there. That's good. Oh, I like that. Maybe I'll start doing that with these. I mean, do you have an old-fashioned typewriter in your house? I know that's not a real common thing. The only reason that I have one is because my neighbor, who is a retired English teacher, she just gave me one time. I'm not sure why she did it, but she did. All right, I guess I'm going to go down the washi tape road again, but maybe we should use the darker one. Let's see. I haven't used this once except to swatch it when I first got it. Whoop. Okay, so I don't know. I need to see Mom just a little bit earlier than usual there because I have a mammogram and need to do that afterwards without taking Mom along for the mammogram. Now, how do I want to do this circle? There, I like it that way. Okay, that's good. Let's do all the mom days that way. A little bit of washi. So I think the deal at back to Goodwill, see I'm ruminating. The deal at Goodwill now, I think, is that instead of doing 75% off last week's color, they're doing a thing called Dollar Days, I think, where on Sunday, the previous week's color, everything is $1. I don't go shopping at Goodwill on Sunday, though, so I'm a little bummed about that. I wish they offered it on Monday as well. But whatever. Ah, the travails, the trials and travails of thrift shopping. All right, so we've got do laundry. That goes with the film plan with me. And we're going to put that over here on the 16th. There are two things that I could go to on the 16th that are piano teacher related, but I've decided I'm not going to do either one. I really need to say no more often because I get myself backed up and busy. And right now, I'm a little bit backed up on new products to film and review because we have some planners launching for 2024 soon. And I have done my Ashley Shelley review, but I have some others on the way. I have a Laurel Denise on the way, a Moxie Life on the way. I have a Day Designer in a brand new cover that has arrived. And I have some EC things that I don't think I'm allowed to say yet. But I have all this stuff to review, which is so fun. But it's not fun if you're doing it in a huge hurry. So I don't want to overbook myself. So instead of going, both of these things are in towns that are either an hour away or 2 hours away. So I decided not to do either one of those events. So yeah, I'm going to leave Saturday open. I like the typewriter look. What do you think? And then looky here. The arch windows always confuse me. So I went ahead and turned these sideways. And I need to practice Chopin every single day. I have a Chopin Nocturne. That is my piece of the month. So you know what? I'm just going to pop these down early in the morning. And they will just fit like that. This might end up looking weird. But you know what? You don't know unless you try. Maybe we'll have a double practice day. Because it looks like on my birthday, maybe I am going to practice Chopin. Why not? It is a work day. I'm not taking off work or anything. Let's practice Chopin right there. And that's all that I've used of those. Then I have some Etsy half circles, which I also am always confused by. This past week, I used my mornings. Whenever I woke up early, especially, I used my mornings to work on Etsy orders. And I love that, to do Etsy with my coffee. So, now you know what would be kind of cute and clever if I did that. Cute and clever. Let's do that on Tuesday and Thursday, first of all. Except I do have a lunch date on Thursday I've got to not forget about. So let's put Etsy down there. And that leaves, I'll probably do it here. Okay. And I don't think I wrote the mammogram on any of these. I didn't type it, but the typewriter's just in the next room, so I could go type it. So let's see if we can fit in some filming. Probably here. And this would look maybe good with a sideways horizontal washi tape background. Like that. Looks good. Oh, my husband has just gotten home. He went to Fresh Market and he got us some blue cheeseburger to grill. Except we're not going to grill it, so we're going to fry it in a frying pan. And it's rainy outside anyway. So we're going to make blue cheeseburgers. There we go. Oh, forgot about the lunch date already. Right after I said, don't forget about the lunch date. I'm going to run over to the typewriter and make a sticker for the mammogram and for the lunch date. Be right back. Here we go. So the lunch date one will probably not want to have that washi there. So we're going to remove that. And I get to have lunch with my friend Cece. And if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, maybe you saw the fun announcement that I was able to make recently. I don't think I've talked about it in a plan with me yet. So the fun announcement is this. You know what I think I'm going to do? Work on stickers and do some filming on And wait, here I go again. I've got to put the mammogram right there first. Okay, so Cece Bell is a wonderful children's book author and illustrator. And she has written a brand new book. And we're friends because she grew up in the town where we live. And we're not the same age. She is younger than I am. But for like 1 year, we were in high school together. She has written a book called Animal Albums from A to Z, which is going to be released on March 26th by Walker Books US. And that is a division of another publisher whose name has escaped me, Candlewick or something like that. So here's the deal. Animal Albums from A to Z is coming out. I'm going to put the picture of the book cover up on the screen so you can see how clever. This is all Cece's artwork, and it's her concept. So here's the idea. It's an alphabet book, but every letter of the alphabet is represented by a fictional musical group or soloist, and they're all animals. So the letter A is some character whose name begins with an A, or maybe it's a band, and it is a genre of music that starts with an A. So that's on this side, the album cover, and it's square-shaped. Over on this side, she has pulled one of the titles from the album out and written full lyrics for it. And then she has collaborated with various musicians that she knows to have music written to accompany those lyrics and performed. So what will happen is there's a QR code in the back of the book. Kids will be able to, or their parents will be able to scan this QR code and go to a website where they will be able to listen to these 26 songs that accompany the book. Well, I'm one of the musicians, and I was able to write 4 of the songs. So I wrote the songs for the letter B, D, I, and E, not in that order. And they are so fantastic. I don't think I can tell you anything about those songs, but the book comes out March 26th. In fact, if you go to Amazon and type in Animal Albums from A to Z, or I'll put the link down in the video description. But anyway, that is so exciting, and I get to have lunch with Cece on Thursday. All right, so this is all of the stickers for events, and it is very Inspire, shall we say? This pattern is called Inspire, and that's what we filled it up with. I don't even know if the washi tape will be necessary, but the little, what do we want to call these? Swirls. The little swirls are just kind of fun pops. So maybe we'll put a few out here. I like that one. This one looks a little like a snake for me. I'm going to pass on that one and go over to the next one, which is kind of peach colored. And let's put this swirl right there. And it also gives us a little sparkle, which is good in my book. Let's get another pink swirl and put it upside down right there. Okay, I think that's enough. Now what we want to do here is put the memory verse, and that's something I didn't type, so hang on. We need to go all the way with this and have typewritten Inspire stickers. So I'll be right back. In fact, what about this? I'm going to type on one of these maybe. Memory verse. And I typed on this. I wasn't sure if it would work because this is a slightly shinier texture. I made a lesson note sticker just to remind me that I need to get my lesson notes done before I call it quits on Friday. And then I'm not really sure what else to do with these because I had so many other Inspire stickers, but I thought it might be a good idea to do a little divider here at the top of Piano Days, but who knows? Is that weird? Oh my. It's a little bit weird. But I've started now and I'm not going to stop. These would be actually neat to type on maybe for little events. I don't know. Okay, I think I need some music notes or pianos right there. Okay. I went ahead and added music notes, a little church building, a little gas pump, and I think I'm going to cover up the habit trackers on the page with these Inspire ones. They're not quite as wide, but it'll be okay. And I'm going to be right back. I'm going to type on one of them, check planner, the other practice piano. There they are. And I'm going to use just a little bit of white out on the sides. There we go. Okay, so let's put the memory verse here. All right, we're on this one. And passing along the Sea of Galilee, he saw Simon and Andrew, the brother of Simon, casting a net in the sea, for they were fishermen. And Jesus said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you become fishers of men." That's Mark chapter 1, verses 16 and 17. How about a slow motion flyover so you can see this Inspire overload in all its glory up close? So the reason I have this verse, which would mostly be called an Easter verse in most settings and in most contexts, is because I decided that for this month, I wanted to focus on learning and memorizing the 12 disciples' names, because that's something I've forgotten over time. I remember the main ones, the ones that are mentioned a lot, but there are some others that I've just forgotten. So we're going to get to those names with next week's verse, but the first two actually had to do with John the Baptist, who preceded Jesus, but in a way he is like the first disciple of Jesus in a way, because he's preparing the way for him. But I wanted to point out something. When I talked about my theme for this month, my friend Miss Vicky, who often comments on my videos, so I hope you're watching, Miss Vicky, she sent me a message in Facebook Messenger with a quiz. She is a Sunday school teacher, and not only is she a Sunday school teacher, she is serious about it. She's got this great big book of resources that I think she calls it Big Mama or Big Bertha or something. It's a giant binder of resources, and she might have more than one of those. But anyway, she also has a link to some interesting quizzes. So she sent me two. She sent me one on the 12 disciples, and then she sent me one quiz that was just on John the Baptist. And Miss Vicky, being the strict viewer that she is, told me that I was not to use Google. So I didn't. I went ahead and took these quizzes, and I could have studied up because she sent me some resources a couple of weeks ago that are excellent on the 12 disciples and on John the Baptist. But I had not studied those yet. So I decided to just jump on in and take the quizzes and see how I did. So on the 12 disciples quiz, and maybe Miss Vicky, if you're watching and you want to post a link to these two quizzes in the comments, that might be fun for anybody else who's watching who just wants to play along and see how they do. I scored 6 out of 10 on the first one. So definitely need to do some brushing up on my knowledge of the 12 disciples. And the questions were not easy, okay? I did better somehow on the life of John the Baptist. I scored 8 out of 10 on that one. That was super fun. And in taking that quiz and in finding out which questions I missed and what the correct answers were, along with the accompanying text from the Bible where I can find that, I actually learned. So I'm glad I took the quiz without studying first, because it taught me some things just by doing it that way. So Miss Vicky, if you want to share the link to those two quizzes, feel free to do that, because some of my other viewers might have fun taking those two quizzes. Okay, so what I'd like to do at the end of my weekly plan with me is say a prayer for the upcoming week. And this is a prayer that I wrote to use every week in the month of September. It does sort of focus on discipleship, just like the Bible verses this month. And I invite you to pray it with me if you would like to. Heavenly Father, thank you for this fun time of plan making and planner decorating with my dear friends who are watching now. As we go through this month, teach us what it is to be a true and loyal disciple of Jesus Christ. Show us what it means in our lives to take up our cross and follow you. Is there something we need to let go of or give up? Help us to do it. Do you want to use us in a particular way to further your kingdom on earth? Put us where you want us. Help us to bloom and grow there. Is there an area in life where you would have us change course? Lead the way, Lord, and give us the courage to follow. As you made the original 12 disciples fishers of men, make us the same. And may we start by being the examples we should be to our own children, spouses, parents, siblings, nieces, and nephews. Set us apart in our workplaces, among our colleagues and our peers, as ones who serve the living God. And may others be drawn closer to you by having been around us in everyday life. Draw the lost who may be listening into the personal relationship with you that you promise and offer. Lead them to those who can show them the way. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Just for fun before we sign off, a few pictures up on the screen of the theme from the baby shower that we went to today. This was for a very close family friend. My daughter-in-law, one of my daughter-in-laws, did the theme. She kind of decorated, and I thought it was super clever. So I'm just going to put up a few pictures to show you. It was a travel theme. And then also, I want to just say a special hello to my friend Angel and to her husband Dwayne and their little boy Parker. I want to say hi. Angel, I want you to know that I'm praying for you every day. Several of us are. And I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.